Hello, students. Thank you for joining to this live session on resume writing. And we'll be having this session speaking about resume writing. Before we start, first of all, I would like to uh, wish you that you take care, stay at home, and during this pandemic situation, let us follow all the guidance which is given by the government authorities. While we do so, we should not forget that we should prepare ourselves for the upcoming campus season and whatever preparation guidelines are being shared with you over a period of time, you take those guidelines seriously from all the stakeholders, your teachers, your training and placement officers, and you prepare yourself so that you will come out with flying colors whenever the campus season will restart. Today we have a variety of audience joining us from the entire Western Maharashtra. We have students from second year, third year, also some students from first year may join this session. In this session, we'll be speaking about resume writing skills. Um, when we say resume writing, there is no standard template as such for any resume. So whatever I'll be sharing in today's video, it is all about experience that I have being a training and placement officer, understanding various requirements from various HR managers. And based on those experiences, I'll be telling you certain do's and don'ts which you should take care while writing your own resume. To start with, your resume should have your own name as your title. Instead of writing curriculum vitae or resume or biodata as a title, you should have your own name. For example, my name is Suhel Sayyad. So Suhel Sayyad would be the title of my resume itself, followed by a short personal profile. And when I say personal profile, I should be writing my professional title is what I suggest. What could be a professional title? So I'll give you certain samples to understand. A professional title could be like a quick learner, or you are a solver or an innovator, or you can see a good team leader or a team member. So these kind of adjectives which well defines your professional behavior. So these kind of things can be given as your professional title at the start of your resume. Many students do prefer writing their career objective at the start. So it is also better to have career objective, but without career objective also one can write your resume by mentioning your professional title. With this, you should have your contact details mentioned at the top position of your resume, which should include your email ID and your phone number. Please make sure that your email ID looks professional. When we are in college days, we are fond of creating email IDs which looks fancy in nature, like for example, akashschool@gmail.com. So these kind of email IDs doesn't look professional at all. So it is my advice to all students to create a professional email ID, which includes your name and surname. And if you're not getting that ID, you can attach with some numeric value to it and create those email IDs instead of creating any fancy email IDs. Followed by your mobile number, 10-digit mobile number. You can also include your social media profile on it. When I say social media profile link, it is better to add your LinkedIn profile link, which is a professional social media, I would say, account. If any student have not created any LinkedIn profile as of now, my first appeal to all such students is to create your own LinkedIn profiles and add that LinkedIn profile link to your resume in the social media profile. What you can exclude writing in your personal details in your resume. It is not required to write your marital status in your resume in your personal section. It is not required to write your date of birth. So under your personal section, it is enough that you mention your email ID, your phone number, and your social media profile link. After that, as a fresher, whenever you are creating your resume, you should be including your educational qualifications. Now, when I say educational qualifications, this educational qualification should be written in reverse chronological order. When I say reverse chronological order, you should be writing your post graduation or graduation details at the start, followed by your HSC or diploma, followed by your SSC. When you mention these details, please make sure you write your institute name or the university name from where you have pursued this education, followed by your CPI score or your percentage of marks based on your university credit cards or mark sheets that you have received. You can also have an optional remarks column into it. This remarks column may have values indicating your specializations during your graduation, or it may also include any achievements in terms of any ranks which you have hold during your educational qualification. After your education qualification, it is better to write your project details in your resume. When you mention project details, it is explaining about your professional behavior as such. So you can include your final year projects, you can include all those mini projects which you might have done in various semester when you are pursuing your engineering or any graduation course for that matter. You can also include your internship details inside your project details. In internships, you might have worked on certain projects. So these projects can also be included in your project details. If you have worked on any paper or if you have done any part-time job, these things can also be included inside your project, which better explains your professional behavior. After your project details, inside your project details, please make sure that you're writing short snippet about your project details. When I say short snippet of your project details means uh, it should not be more than two sentences. Okay, so the project title followed by the two-line statement, one or two-line statement which describes your project. So, and if you could also mention that what was your role in that project. If that project is say in the team size of 4 to 5, so what was your contribution? If you could mention that contribution in your project details, that will add value. While writing these project details, please don't make any generic statements. If you could quantify certain data over there with help of certain numbers in terms of what you have achieved through that project, that adds value. And being specific in the resume will also give a different flavor of how professional you are, and it creates a different image of your resume in front of your interviewer. After your project details, you can also list out your skill sets. When we list out skill set, we can have skill set in terms of the technical skills. When we say technical skills, as an engineering candidate, as an engineering fresher, I would give certain examples. If you are applying for, say, com science, IT, ITES kind of job, so you can mention various technologies that you know, and you can rate your skills in the scale of, say, 5. So you can rate yourself in, say, Android, or you can rate yourself in case of machine learning or a blockchain technology. So you can rate yourself in the scale of 1 to 5. After that, you can also rate yourself in different other type of skills. For example, communication skills, critical thinking skills, social media skills, leadership skills, project management skills. Sometimes, as a fresher also, whenever we are applying for any campus or off-campus job interview, we get certain kind of job description available with us. In this job description, sometimes certain skill sets are mentioned which the particular company is expecting the candidate should possess. So if you could include these skill set in your resume and rate yourself in the scale of 5, that will add value because interviewer is interested to find a candidate which best fits to the job description which is provided to him, right? So if you could have those keywords, say for example, in a fresher candidate, if a particular company is looking out for a Java expert, and if you don't have Java written in your resume, then it will not add value. If you are a mechanical engineering student and if a company is looking out for an expert in CATIA or say AutoCAD, and if you don't have AutoCAD or CATIA rated in your skills in the rate of 1 to 5, then your resume will not find attractive to the technical panel member or for that matter HR panel member also. So it is very important that you read the job description given by your TPO or by your teacher properly, and based on that job description rate yourself for those skill sets and write those skill sets in your resume. And never forget, you should also write the other skill sets as I mentioned, because communication skill is something which is now required by each and every employer. If you read any on campus or off campus job opening details which is shared by training and placement officer, you can see that communication skill is a mandatory skill set which nowadays industry is demanding. So you should have this rated for yourself in your resume also. Apart from that, based on your expertise, you can mention the other skill sets like critical thinking, leadership, social media, project management, and so on. Now, please make sure that while rating yourself in the scale of 1 to 5, you be honest with yourself. See, for the sake of exaggeration, you should not rate yourself and prove false when you are appearing for the interview, because that will add to a negative impact during your interview process. So, very important is be honest with yourself while writing your own resume. After that, you can have an additional section to your resume, which is the most interesting section as far as any fresher graduate is concerned. What all things you can add to your additional sections? So I'll give you certain samples. You can add your competitive exam score. So if you have appeared for any GATE examination or your IIT JEE score or any other competitive exam score which you have appeared, you can add that score in your additional section. You can mention certain awards which you have received. You can also mention certain certifications that you have done or any publications that you have done over the last couple of years during your engineering or your graduation tenure. You can also include any patents that you have filed for any of the project works that you have done during your study. You can also mention various courses or workshops that you have attended during your course of education. You can mention the conferences that you have attended, and also you can mention other extracurricular activities. Sometimes it is also okay to write the languages that you know. Many of students usually have three languages as far as the Western Maharashtra zone is concerned, in like English, Hindi, and Marathi. Apart from that, if you have any other foreign language that you know, you can also rate yourself for these foreign languages like Japanese and German. You can also include hobbies in this additional section. But please make sure that these hobbies are relevant to the job profile that you are applying. So don't mention certain hobbies which are not in line to the job profile that you are applying for. You can also include details like being a part of any professional body member. If you have taken membership of any professional body in your course for last 4 years, like Computer Society of India, or if you have been member of ISTE. So these professional body associations, if you have taken membership, so you can include that, and what work you have contributed being a member of these professional bodies can also be included in your resume. If you have contributed to any newsletters, maybe at your departmental level, or maybe at your institute level, or maybe at your professional body level, so these new newsletter contributions can also be added to your resume in this additional section. Many students also have a habit of writing blogs. Okay, so if you could also mention these blogs URL and what type of articles do you write on these blogs. In short, if you could mention in this additional section, will also add value to your resume. Given all these things, additional section is something which contributes a lot to your resume as far as freshers are concerned. If someone is writing a resume for an experienced profile, I would suggest to have maybe one or two entries, not more than that, for any additional section entry. But as a fresher, you may have many things to say for your co-curricular and your extracurricular activities. And these co-curricular and extracurricular activities will be contributed in this additional section. So please make sure that you make a proper record of what you are doing in your course of your education. So my tip to all the students would be that writing a resume is not one day job. What you can do is over a period of time, whenever you get any kind of achievement or you do any kind of work or you do any kind of course or a workshop, please see that you write those entries on a piece of paper, make a proper note of it. So whenever it comes to writing your final resume for a particular job profile, you have a lot of data in your hand, because many times it happens that campus season starts and training and placement officers will go behind the students, and students will try to create their resume and they are not able to find what should I write in my resume, right? So from day one itself, whenever you take admission to your professional education, or from today itself, what you can do is you can pen down your activities that you have done for various workshops that you have attended, or various courses that you have attended, or for that matter various paper presentations that you have done, or for that matter different kind of certifications that you have done, volunteer activities that you have done. All this if you can pen down, and based on the company for which you are applying, if you can shortlist these and mention them in your co-curricular and extracurricular activities, it will add a lot of value to your resume. Again, I would like to repeat all students that please be honest while writing these entries inside your resume, because honesty is something which will not be compromised. Even if you don't know a particular skill set, you can rate yourself on a lower end for that particular skill set. Say, for example, in Java, I rate myself as 3 on 5. There is nothing wrong in rating myself for Java as 3 on 5 when the company is expecting me to be a Java, a candidate they are recruiting for Java. Having a fear factor and overrating ourselves for say 4 or 5 and not able to answer during the interview will give a very negative impact. So be honest in rating yourself, so that companies, even if you are not able to answer, but based on your self assessment, they will be interested to train you, but they will not compromise on the honesty. Based on these inputs, I would recommend all the students who have listened to today's video, you can go back, you can introspect yourself, point down various activities that you have done for the last 4 years and come up with your own resume. While creating this resume, I would not like to recommend any softwares as such, because I don't want to promote any tools as such. You can use any softwares like Microsoft Word, Google Docs. You can use any of these softwares. Don't use any ready-made templates as such for creating your resumes, but try to keep your resumes as simple as possible. Being a fresher, I would recommend to keep your resume to max 1 page or at the max 2 page. Okay, 1 page resume is also more than sufficient for a fresher candidate, but max to max, I would say 2 pages are more than enough. The interviewer won't have much time to go through your resume. Okay, so please make sure that you are keeping your resume as crisp as possible, to the point, so that it attracts. And based on my experience, I would like to share with students that any HR interviewer or any technical panelist who goes through your resume will try to judge you in initial 5 to 6 seconds only based on what you have written in your resume. So you have only first 5 to 6 seconds to attract the interviewer with help of your resume. So it is also advised sometimes that you can create your resume with help of various graphical tools. Nowadays, many students also opt for creating resume using infographics. Okay, so creating a resume using infographics is altogether another topic. So if you students want me to speak on that, please do comment in the comment section below, so that I'll come up with another live session or any video on how to create resume using infographic. Because we all know that images convey a lot of information rather than text. So we can also create a resume with help of infographic in 1 page. Based on this advice, I once again would like to appeal all the students who have gone through today's online session to give feedback for any kind of online sessions that you need for grooming your own personality as such, and prepare yourself for upcoming campus season. I once again would like to appeal all of you to stay at home and stay blessed and take care. Thank you.